In this next section on earned media, we turn our attention to user-generated content. And we're going to explore user-generated content by looking at a local Portsmouth brand, a brand that sells apparel, fashion, t-shirts and hoodies that are very successful in generating and using user-generated content. So the brand is called Runner. As you can probably guess from the brand name, they are focused on the running community. So they create apparel, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, bibs, racing magnets for the racing numbers for people who participate in running, people that run for pleasure, run for fitness, run for mental health, like to compete in marathons. So they've realized that running is quite a solitary sport, but people still crave community and still want to kind of have conversations with and meet other runners. So as runners themselves, they created this brand. The two brand owners, Craig and Matt, are actually alumnus from the University of Portsmouth. So many years ago, they were students just like you. So they've created this successful brand and they're selling lots of apparel and they're doing really great things. So one of the things I just wanted to bring your attention to on their website is that their whole blog content is user generated. So they will ask users to write a blog post for them under the hashtag #IRunBecause. So let's have a very quick look at the website that they use. So this is Runner's website. So just get rid of the email pop-up. So the #IRunBecause blog, you can see that they will have, rather than writing blogs themselves, they will get runners, people who are avid members of their community, possibly people who have bought from them before, will write blogs about their journey. It could be a journey from recovery from an operation or from an illness, or how running has changed their lives, or how they fit running around their busy lifestyle as a nurse or as a mother. So Runner are using user-generated content on their website. And again, it helps to foster community and create something bigger than just a brand. In terms of social media, Runner are also making great efforts in terms of the way that they are getting user-generated content on their social media platform as well. So a lot of their posts are promotional, so they're promoting their new products, but they're also getting users to post or using user-generated content. So they have a hashtag that they will ask people to use. So we've got UK Run Chat, hashtag Runner, lots of other things. And if they see a post that's used their brand hashtag and they want to use that post and say, "Hello, Instagram person, please can I republish your post?" They're using a tool called Get Reposts. So there's a tool, a third-party tool that you can use with Instagram that helps you to regram or repost other users' content. So first of all, they have to encourage people to do it. So they need to spread their branded hashtag. And then once they see people using the branded hashtag and creating really nice, engaging posts, they use a third-party app, Get Repost, to recirculate that app. So they're doing great things. I think last year when we looked at them as a student case study for a digital strategy module, I think something like 80% of their Instagram grid was made up from user-generated content. So they're a really nice example of a brand that's successfully generating user-generated content and mixing that in really nicely with their own sort of branded promotional content. So generally, when we're thinking about the types of content that we can create as marketers, we can break it down into these 4 areas. We can have informational messages. So we're giving people information about our organization. It could be about the company, about our employees, about the products, about the benefits. We're informing people. We're providing them with information. Or we can create emotional messages. So in the previous lecture, we looked at some campaigns that didn't really have a lot of information in them. They weren't about the benefits of drinking water or drinking mineral water. They were just about the emotion of fun, the emotion of humor, the emotion of kind of like play. So we can have informational messages or emotional messages. And again, as runners, Instagram grid shows really, really well. We can have user-generated content created by our audience or potential customers or influencers or advocates, or we can have branded content we create ourselves where we talk about our brand, our product, our service, or our company. So Runner are a really nice example of this. Please do head over, follow them on Instagram, have a little look at how they've generated user-generated content, the tools that they're using, the hashtags that they're using, please do take inspiration. They've nailed it really well. So I think they're a really good case study for you to have a look at when you're thinking about your positive impact project and how you might be able to use the different tools and functions of a platform or third-party integrations to help generate, spread, and capture user-generated content. The easiest way for brands, for organizations and charities to create or stimulate user-generated content is by running competitions. And this can be very, very beneficial. It's a great way of getting people involved because they have a clear incentive. They could win a prize, win some merchandise, or win something. But you need to be aware that using this method it has to be done well. It has to be done in the right way. Otherwise, it can be negative for both you, your brand, and the audience. If you do competitions too often, the platform might flag your content as spam. So if they think that you're constantly doing promotional competitions and that you're not really kind of marketing in an authentic and consistent way, you might actually get less reach because you're overusing competitions, and it means that you're kind of degrading the quality of your message. Also, it's generally because if you're constantly doing competitions, they diminish in value. If you're doing a competition every other day, your community might get a bit bored if you go, yay, competition, join this competition, join this competition, and they stop participating. So the social media platforms realize this, so they don't want brands doing competitions all the time. You just have to do it when it's really relevant, when it's really important, time it right. Also, if you're going to use competitions as a way to generate user-generated content, keep them simple. If your competition is too complicated, if it requires too many steps, too many actions, too much to think about, people won't participate. So you need to keep that barrier to entry nice and low. You also need to think about any legal obligations and fairness, terms and conditions, exemptions, fulfillment. Make sure that you can fulfill what you're offering. Make sure that you can give the prize, that you can manage all of the entries to the competition in a fair and legal way, that you can manage people's data, for example. And the other thing you need to think about if you're working for a small business or a charity is the cost. Where's the prize coming from? Can you afford to give away the prize? How often, etc. So competitions do have a cost because generally you're giving away some stock or some prizes. So think about whether you can actually afford that as part of your campaign. Another thing you can do when you're trying to generate user-generated content is to think about the available functions and features that platforms have. So hashtags, for example. Hashtags are really effective on Instagram and on Twitter and on other platforms as well. You can develop branded hashtags. You can have campaign-specific hashtags, seasonal hashtags. It's a really great way to kind of spot content that's being created around your brand, and then you can reach out and use third-party tools to kind of repost that content. Another great way to generate some user-generated content and foster some community is by working with partners and working with guests. So I showed you runr earlier, that runr actually have their community, people that run, writing blogs, and then they have lots of people writing in, they choose the best one and they upload it to their website, and then they push that out to social media. And again, it gives people a reason to visit the website, and it positions runr as a linchpin in the community, in the running community. So they're not just a brand selling t-shirts and hoodies, they're also helping to bring together this community. So it gives value, and it positions them as more than just a t-shirt brand. Another thing we can do in terms of creating user-generated content is invite people to do takeovers. So there might be an influencer, a micro-influencer, or a celebrity who is willing to work with a positive impact project. They might take over your Instagram for the day, or you might take over theirs, and it's a great way of reaching a new audience and providing some new engaging content. I've discovered some brands recently on Instagram because the brands that I currently follow have done takeover days, and they've either taken over somebody else's channel or vice versa, and I'm like, wow, that brand's really cool too. I'm going to give them a follow. So it can really help you to reach a new audience, and if the brand or the influencer has a similar audience to your own, you're going to be reaching the right type of people. And we will cover takeovers and how we can actually plan those and execute those in more detail when we look at earned media after Christmas. So another reason why runr are a great case study example is because they also have a little positive impact project of their own. So not only are they a community for runners, not only do they sell running apparel, t-shirts and hoodies and hats, they also offer something called a virtual run. So a virtual run is an event they put on every year, and people join up, they sign up on the website, they pay an entrance fee. I think it's about £15, and they pledge how many miles they will run in that month. So they could be in recovery from an operation or an accident, or from having sort of cancer or a health issue, or they could just be wanting to push their distance and run further than they've ever run before. So you pledge how far you will run that month, and then you use a run tracker, whether it's a wearable technology, or whether you're using an app on your phone to kind of evidence the miles that you've covered. Once you've completed your running for that month, you get to sort of put your name up, and sort of join that community. You get a medal, you get a certificate, and you feel like you've achieved something. All of the money that runr raise from the entrance fees goes towards the charity that they support. The money goes towards the charity Mind. Mind is a national UK charity that helps people with mental health issues. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people run to help with their mental health. So there's a really nice natural fit between the value of the community and what running does and this particular charity. So far, they've been doing this for a couple of years now, and they have raised over £112,000 for Mind. So that's really great work that they're doing. And again, it positions them in the mind of their customers as giving back, as being part of a community, as being more than just an apparel brand. So some things to consider for your positive impact project. How can you incentivize users to generate content around your issue, around your positive impact project? How could you create a campaign that gets people to share? You need to think creatively, you need to research current trends, you need to dive in and find out what functions are available on platforms, and also consider consumer psychology. Why do we share? Why do we participate in things? What emotional appeal are you making? You also need to think about how you can legally and ethically share user-generated content. As mentioned, there are third-party apps that allow you to contact people, ask them, get their permission, and repost their content. You can't just take people's content because they're using your brand and go, okay, I'm going to publish that on my platform. So you need to do your research. There's some articles on Moodle that cover that as well. So generally there's quite a few things you can think about, but hopefully this has inspired you to unleash your creativity and think about what you could do for your positive impact project.